Hey, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time, welcome to the channel. So in a previous video, I went over the basic distributor adjustment for this ProForm style distributor. I'm going to go in a little bit more detail on actually adjusting it now, and we're going to work on setting the timing. I've done this several times, but I'm still not quite happy with it. My advance is coming a little late, so we're gonna address all that in today's video. Thank you for watching. Alright, so we got the distributor and everything back here. What I'm gonna do right now, obviously everything's unhooked. I'm just gonna spin it around to where it's pointing over here at number 1. So when I put it back in, I know exactly where to put it. Yeah, it's close enough. You can see my white mark right there is number 1. That's pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty close. All right, so let's get all the first thing we're gonna do is unhook this battery. We gotta unhook our electricals connection, which is right here. And now we got to unhook the vacuum advance, which is on the other side. That's there. If I can get my hand under here. Alright, I'll just stick our hose up out of the way. And now we need a 1/2 inch right here. And we'll pull this distributor out. Alright, so we got the bolt out and the bracket loose right there. So now we're just going to gently pull this thing out. Maybe. Alright, might take both hands. So I'm gonna pull this distributor out of here. And the hole here, I'm just gonna stick a rag down in it so nothing gets down in there. Just make sure nothing falls down in there. Alright, here's our distributor. We're going to take it in the shop. Alright, so let's get into it. Don't judge me too bad. My bench is a mess. The whole shop's a mess right now. I haven't had time to clean it out in a while. So, just like before in the previous video, we're just going to take these side screws off. We got to pop this off with a flat head. No, so it's off. I'll try to make a little bit of room here. So what we're doing now is we're going to set the mechanical advance curve and the total advance. I'm going to turn the total advance down just a little and lighten the spring up so the total comes in sooner. Right now I'm not getting my total until about 30 34, 3500. I'd like to see more like 2500. All right. We got to pop this. Vacuum advance out. There we go. There's our vacuum canister. And now this just slides out. Alright, so what we're looking at now Alright, so this right here, just like in the last video, this is what sets your total, and these springs is what sets your curve. So this right here was the original spring, and you can see this one is a different color right there. This one's kind of gold, and this one's kind of like a pink red color. This one I put in to stiffen it up a little bit. I'm gonna go back to the light one, and what this does is as it spins, it's gonna be hard for me to get this on camera. But as this spins, those weights come out. And the stiffer the spring, the later they come out. So we're gonna pop this spring off and put a lighter one back in. Try to get you overhead here so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, I think that's pretty good. So I'm gonna be taking this spring out and replacing it with this other one. So here's the spring that I'm putting in it. We got to get that old one out. And just like it. And there's the old one. And here's the one we're putting back in it. Alright, it's in. So now, when we turn this, it opens up a lot easier. So that means our total advance is going to come in sooner. The mechanical advance is going to max out quicker. Alright, so now we gotta break these set screws loose, and we're going to adjust this total timing. Alright. Come on. 2. Alright, so we want it to be, I want to go about halfway. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, but I tightened it up about halfway. That slot's a lot smaller now, so when it opens up, it's not going to open up as far, and that's going to limit the total timing. Alright, now we just got to put it back together and test it out. There's a little pin in here. You want to make sure you line it up. So since we had this thing apart, we're going to now set the air gap, which is the gap between this reluctor and the pickup here. You can see this moves when this set screw is loose. So that's how we're going to set our air gap. We're just going to take a filler gauge, put it in there, and then tighten it down. I'm going to set it to probably about 8 thousandths, just to make sure it's not touching anywhere. You can see right there it touches. So let's get that set real quick. Alright, so I set this to 8 thousandths, and when you spin it, you can hear right there it's still making a little bit of contact with just a couple of them. So I'm going to go about 10 thousandths. Alright, so now it's set. You can spin it. It's not making any clicking. I'm using a 9 thousandths filler gauge. And it fits in there. So that's probably closer to 8 than it is to 9, because the 9 is pretty tight. So 8 thousandths, that's about what we wanted. I used the 8 thousandths filler gauge, and it was still touching. But you got to remember, whenever you tighten this down, there's going to be some squish, so you're actually squishing the filler gauge. So I'd say it's more like 8 thousandths instead of 9, but the 9 just barely fits. So we're good. Let's get it put back in the car. Alright, so unfortunately when I was filming the other day, the camera died, so I didn't get to video reinstalling the distributor. So we'll do that in a different video. I will say this, I'm going to have to pull it back out anyway, because I limited my total a little bit too much. I don't have quite enough. I had set it at like 18 initial, and it gave me like 26 total. So I backed it off a little bit, and now I got about 24 total right now. So I'd like a little bit more than that. So we're going to reset it. I just want to finish this video off, and in a separate video we'll pull that back out. And I'm not going to refilm the whole process of adjusting it. I think this video covered that pretty well. If you have more questions, or you don't quite understand, leave me a comment and I will redo it. I don't mind redoing it. So if you have any questions, just leave me a comment and let me know, and I'll go back to it one more time. But we are going to pull it back out. It's raining today. I'll try to get to it this afternoon. Hopefully it'll ease up with the rain a little bit. But I did check the timing again just now, and I got 14 initial and 24 total without the vacuum. So I'd like to see about 34 total, 14 initial. So I'm going to add just a little bit more to that that stop, that limits, the total limit stop, I guess is what we're going to call it. I'm not really sure the official name for it, but that's what I call it. I add a little bit more to it. It don't take long to pull it out. I mean, you've seen on video, it's a 15-minute job. It's not hard at all. Now the older Mopar and Chevrolet distributors are completely different. Mopar distributors, you have to use like a you can either weld the slots. There's a ton of videos on that, or you can use one of these plates right here, made by FBO. And what it does exactly the same thing, except for you just slide this down in there, and these slots is what limits the stop. That's what limits the amount that it's going to open. Whereas mine has a little set screw that you slide. I don't need this on my style, but I have one just in case. Like I said, I have a bunch of different distributors. I got some of the old point style. I have several of the 70 style that you need that plate for. Oh, and I have 2 or 3 of these Proform style. I'm not sure who makes them or manufactures them, but I know Proform brand sells one that is identical to mine. I don't think mine is Proform. I don't know who made it. I do have the other kit that I have was a Mopar Performance kit, and it come with the ECU, the distributor, and the little wiring harness. That's what I bought for the issue that I was having with the no start. And I bought it just for the pigtail and the ECU, and the distributor came with it, and it was about the same price as the ECU. So I just bought the whole kit. I got it at a pretty good deal. So I'm gonna wrap this one up, but we will do this in a different video. We're setting the timing. Like I said, my battery on my phone died, so I didn't actually get to go through the process of setting the timing, which I want to do on camera, because that was one of the things that, you know, when I was first kind of starting building engines and stuff, that really confused me. I didn't really understand the concept behind it, but I don't want to go into too much detail in this video, so we'll cover that in a different video. Appreciate you watching. Thank you. I'll see you next time.